The observation deck fell into absolute silence as the chronometer displayed the final number, 9 minutes and 47 seconds. Judge Methalian of the Sovereign Assembly stared at the data streaming across his crystalline interface, his 3 optical sensors cycling rapidly through disbelief, calculation, and what the attendants recognized as the beginning of genuine concern. Around him, representatives from 43 spacefaring civilizations sat frozen in their designated observation pods, their various biological systems struggling to process what they had just witnessed. The Trial of Champions was legendary across the galaxy, a test designed to measure a species' worthiness for membership in the Intergalactic Union. Each trial lasted a minimum of 3 days. The previous record, held for 3,000 years by the Valorians, stood at 2 days and 16 hours. No species had ever completed it in less than a full rotation of any celestial body. Until today. The human girl stood in the center of the arena, her chest heaving with exertion, her dark hair matted with perspiration. She was barely 23 years old by their calculations, practically an infant by galactic standards. Her frame was fragile compared to the crystalline structures of the Methalians or the armored carapaces of the Krell. Yet she had just demolished every obstacle, puzzle, and combat simulation the arena had thrown at her. "That's impossible," whispered Delegate Voss from the Ethereal Collective, his gaseous form rippling with agitation. The psychological pressure chamber alone should have rendered her catatonic for weeks. The mathematics section required understanding of 17-dimensional space. She solved it in 90 seconds, confirmed the archive AI, its voice unnaturally calm. And she asked for the advanced version afterward. Judge Methalian activated the communication channel. His voice, modulated through 1,000 translation matrices, echoed across the arena. "The Trial of Champions has concluded. You have demonstrated unprecedented." "Wait," the human girl interrupted, stepping forward with her hands on her hips. Her tone was casual, almost disrespectful by galactic standards, yet tinged with genuine curiosity. "That's it? I thought there would be more. That was just warm-up stuff." The silence that followed was the kind of silence that made quantum physicists uncomfortable. "Warm-up?" Delegate Kresh of the Metallic Alliance leaned forward, his optical sensors glowing brighter. "Child, you just navigated a gravity maze that took the Valorians 4 hours. You solved simultaneous equations that would paralyze most species' computers. You defeated 3 combat drones that were calibrated for beings 3 times your mass." The human girl shrugged. "Yeah, but they were slow. And the equations had patterns. Once you saw the first one, the rest were just variations. And those drones? They telegraphed their moves way too obviously. My grandmother fights better than that, and she's recovering from surgery." Dr. Valine, observing from the archive section, felt her multiple eyes widening. She leaned toward her colleague. "Do you understand what we're witnessing?" "A statistical impossibility," the colleague replied. "No," Valine corrected. "We're witnessing a species that doesn't comprehend limitation. She doesn't see the trial as a test. She sees it as a puzzle to solve. And more importantly, she's not afraid of it." The human girl continued, her voice taking on an edge of genuine frustration. "Look, I didn't come all this way to stand around for 3 days pressing buttons and answering questions. If this is what you use to evaluate species, then you're evaluating wrong. This test doesn't measure anything except patience and the ability to follow instructions. It doesn't measure creativity, adaptation, or what we actually do when things go wrong." Judge Methalian exchanged glances with the other judges. Protocol demanded that they convene in private chambers to discuss this unprecedented situation. Yet something about the girl's words resonated through the chamber. "What would you propose instead?" the judge asked carefully. The human girl's eyes lit up with an intensity that made even the most battle-hardened delegates lean back slightly. "Give me a real problem. Something broken. Something that matters. Not a simulation, something with actual consequences." That's when you'll really see what humans can do. The observation deck erupted. Species that had remained neutral for millennia suddenly voiced opinions. The Valorians demanded the results be invalidated. The Ethereals questioned whether the human possessed some form of cognitive enhancement. The archive AI simply updated its database with a single notation: reassessment of species evaluation protocols may be necessary. But in her observation pod, Dr. Valine simply smiled. She had spent decades studying humanity, and she had always suspected this moment would come. Not the moment when humans would pass the test. The moment when humans would render the test itself obsolete. The human girl crossed her arms, waiting. So? Do you have any real problems, or should I go home? For the first time in recorded galactic history, the great judges had no immediate answer. Kindly like and subscribe channel. Thank you.